Are you having difficulty finding good new employees and even holding on to the ones you have now? Hi, this is Randy Kirk, and today on Small Business Daily, we're going to be talking about the labor shortage. The labor shortage is serious, it's not going to get better, and I want to talk to you about ways to find and hire good new employees that you may not be thinking about. If you like this kind of content, would you please press the like button? Only about a third of the people that come onto any kind of a YouTube show press the like button, but maybe you could be one of those that presses it, okay? And also subscribe. And then if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, you can press the button over there that says that you want to be notified. And then we'll notify you of upcoming shows. So what's the situation? Well, the situation right now, from where I sit and from people I've talked to all over the country, is that there just aren't any good employees out there right now looking for jobs. I mean, it's rare. We saw a sign the other day from some McDonald's in Florida where they're actually offering $50 if people will just apply for their job at McDonald's that they have. So it's a tough labor market right now. And some people are saying, well, that's probably because a lot of folks are getting that extra $300 a week. And when that ends, then that'll free up a lot of labor and things will get better. I'm going to suggest to you that that just isn't true. The economy is on fire. It's not going to stop. They can't build houses fast enough. They can't manufacture and import bikes fast enough. They can't. The lumber's in short supply because everybody wants to remodel their homes. I mean, it's just on and on and on. Pick the commodity right now, it's under pressure. Pick the product, it's probably been picked clean at Target, okay? So it's a rough market out there right now for finding good new employees. So we're gonna break this into two parts. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about where you can find these folks, okay? Where can you find people that are gonna be better than average or even great? Okay. And then part two is we're going to talk about what are the kinds of ways that you might entice them to want to work for you rather than somebody else. Because even if you get them in the door, you get them to fill out an app, you get into a conversation with them, they might have another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 offers going on right now. So what can you do to make them want to work for you? All right. Let's start from the beginning. I've been saying this for as long as I can remember, at least for as long as I've been hiring employees. And I can say without question, I have hired hundreds and hundreds of employees. The number one place I have always gotten the best employees who stay with me the longest has always been the number one way, and that is from my existing employees' recommendations. Now, don't take my word for it. You'll hear me talking over the years a lot about In-N-Out Burgers in California. That's how they get their employees too. In fact, they're willing to pay their employees to bring their friends and associates in. They pay them, I don't know what it is today, and a few years ago, it was $50 just to get one of their friends or one of their associates to come in and apply. Sounds like the McDonald's down in Florida, but in this case, it wasn't a sign out front. This is a case of paying your existing employees to talk to their friends and their associates about coming in and applying at In-N-Out. Now, I never paid my employees to do that, but I did say, gee whiz, we're looking for this employee at this time. Do you know anybody that might like that job? Of course, we had a wonderful experience at our company. It was a nice place to work. So they were happy to go out and talk to their friends. So why is that employee going to be better, let's say, than one you might get through advertising on Indeed? Well, the employee who recommends one of their friends or associates are not going to bring you bad employees. They know it's going to hurt the company. They know it's going to hurt their reputation. It isn't what they're going to do. So I found that their family members, their friends, their associates were strong candidates for the opportunities that we had at our company. This also circumvents the normal way of finding employees. You're more likely to find folks that are thinking about changing jobs. They're not quite happy where they are. They might be enticed by an extra $1 an hour. They haven't really told anybody. They haven't gone online yet and started applying. That's one of the huge benefits of going through friends and family. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is similar. Your reps and the people that are your suppliers are another great way to get excellent employees. It's kind of the same reasoning. If I'm a rep calling on you and you say, hey, look, I could really use another customer service person, as the rep, I want to impress you. So I'm going to look around and see what I can do to get that done because it's going to make you happy and maybe you're going to buy more from me. Number two, I'm not going to bring you any bad people because that's going to be a bad reflection on me. So I'm going to be looking for good folks to come in and apply. And then number three, I have resources. I'm calling on lots of other folks in the area who will also know potentially of people that are looking for a job. It also, as we said before, circumvents the normal chain. And like we said before, it circumvents the normal approach. You're getting the potential folks before they've gone online and started searching. Okay, so that's number two, is using your reps and the suppliers that call on you. Number three is you may want to go, this is one that I used a ton, and that is you want to go to the agencies. Believe it or not, you want to go to the agencies. In particular, I liked temp to hire. I like to be able to bring somebody in for 4 hours or 8 hours on a temporary basis, and then continue to use them as a temp, or at some point want to hire them. And if I wanted to hire them, I had a relationship with the agency where I could either pay them off early with some amount of money, or they would work for me for 90 or 120 days. And then at the end of that time, they could come to work for me without any kind of payment to the agency. So temp to hire was a great method for me. So there's a lot of temp to hire agencies around you. Pick up the phone, call these folks who can get you the kind of people that you're looking for. Different temp agencies have different kinds of employees. Warehouse workers over here, bookkeepers over here, they have different folks. Okay, so temp to hire is one of my favorites. So temp to hire is what I liked, but you could also go to the agencies who do traditional hiring. Sometimes they're called headhunters. Now these you would use, I think in most cases, if I was going to use a regular agency, I would be looking for the higher up the ladder, the managers, the top bookkeepers, vice presidents, things of that nature, salespeople, because you're going to pay a fair amount of money to get these people. But when you're using temp to hire, are you using an agency and you're paying thousands of dollars to get these folks in the door? Remember the amount of time and money that you are saving by not running ads, by not having to look through thousands of applications, by not having to bring several people in and interview them, by not having to make those decisions, and then maybe you end up with not a very good employee after all and have to start the entire process over again. With an agency, you have certain guarantees. If they don't work out, they'll get somebody else and you haven't wasted your money. So an agency is another great way to go. You can also use your relationships in the area. If you belong to the Rotary or your church, or you might belong to the Chamber of Commerce, you might be in a specific organization in your industry, whatever relationships that you have like that, along with other people that are in businesses around you or other people that are in your same business in other cities or states. These are also folks that you can put out the word, let them know you're looking, and this is a real possibility that they might know somebody that, again, isn't really on the market yet. What about social media? Have you thought about social media? Do you have an active Facebook presence? Do you have a Facebook page for your company? Well, here's a little secret. Run the ad on your Facebook page. You don't have to spend a lot of money, spend $10, $20 on the Facebook ad, but then ask your employees and the reps that are calling on you and your friends to like it and to share it, okay? When they share it on their own timeline, that's gonna get much more reach than you could ever get from just putting it on your timeline. So ask people to share it. That's going to be a great way to get huge reach in terms of the position that you're looking for. Now, here's a completely around the block method that you might want to try. Maybe you need to shift some employees so that you can use remote employees instead of people that come into the office. After COVID, a lot of folks are saying, hey, I really liked working at home. How do you get those remote employees, or how can you use those remote employees? Maybe you haven't used remote before, or maybe you've had a bad experience, but you want a position, you want the job, you want that position to be the position that's going to work the best for remote. So create the position that you think would work fine for remote, and then you can shuffle your other people to take on different jobs so that you free up that remote opportunity. Now you start looking for folks that want to do the remote job. Use all those same resources that we just talked about to find that remote employee if you're looking for a domestic employee. If you want to go overseas, pretty much the same thing. You just won't be asking your friends and associates and the people who work for you for that overseas remote employee. But you'll be going to Fiverr and Upworks and other situations like that where you can find virtual assistants. I happen to have a couple of people that I know that help with virtual assistants, both in Mexico and in the Philippines. Don't think that this isn't a viable way for you to do this kind of work. I never had a virtual assistant until 8 years ago, and now I have one full-time virtual assistant and about 6 part-time virtual assistants that do everything for me. I don't have a single W-2 or 1099 at this point, and I'm running 5 companies using only virtual assistants and remote employees. Okay, so that's a way you can do it. You can rejigger and reorganize so that instead of looking for somebody that has to come in the building, you go out and you find somebody that can work remotely. Another great way to find employees is to get them from the local schools. Well, you know, the first thing you might think is universities, but the university situation is a little bit complex. It's kind of like using Indeed. You have to put up all the information onto a big board, and every university in the area is looking on that board, and you're kind of going to get the same employees that you would get through an Indeed or through LinkedIn or something like that. So instead of doing that, what you want to do is you want to go to the high schools, the private schools, the Christian schools, the junior colleges, the places that are less likely to be as sophisticated at the way that they're advertising for the employees that are looking for jobs. So you can call them, you can go down and actually knock on the door, walk in and say, look, I'm looking for employees. What's the best way to do that with your juniors and your seniors, your graduating seniors? Probably at the time we're doing this in May, that's the graduation time. So a bunch of juniors and seniors are looking for summer work or for full-time employment. So check with your local schools and find out what the methodologies are for getting their students that are coming right into the workforce. The benefit of that, of course, is they have not been trained badly by somebody else. They're fresh. They're usually more excited about starting work. They're usually more enthusiastic, and you can train them the right way, okay, to do what you need done. A variation of that method is one that's used by Elon Musk. Famously, he actually develops relationships with teachers and professors. So what does he want to do? He's needing engineers. He wants the best engineers in the world. So he makes relationships with the deans of the engineering school, with the major professors at the engineering schools. He wants to be right at the beginning. He wants to have those guys pick up the phone and call him when they see some great talent, way before they're ready to go into the workforce. So this is another way you might do it. You could do it even with the high school seniors, teachers, the ones who are teaching the senior level classes, and talk to them if they see some great talent that's coming out of certain categories that might be useful and beneficial to you. So that's true for junior colleges, etc. This is something you can certainly do. There's also the trade schools. So there's a bunch of different kind of trade schools. There are trade schools that teach mechanical arts. There are trade schools that teach art. I used to get a lot of my artists out of an art school down in Long Beach. Is there a trade school that trains people to do the kind of stuff you're looking for? check with them. They're absolutely the most interested in placing their students because they're charging them usually a lot more than they would be charging that a student would be paying even at the junior college or some universities in order to get this trade school training. And the trade schools want to make sure that they're placing their students in order to enhance their reputation. So check with those folks. Now you also have internships. Now, an intern typically is somebody who's only going to be trained by you. And there's this idea that you can get free interns, and you can, maybe not in this tight market, but free interns might be available. But in that case, technically, according to the government, they do need to be only in training. They can't be doing anything that you would normally hire somebody else to do. They can be training, they can be helping you with something you wouldn't hire somebody else to do, like research maybe, or something of that nature. But you can pay, I think the minimum wage, it probably depends on your state, you can pay a certain amount to these interns, and then you can have them do anything you want. They're still supposed to be getting trained, learning the skills that'll help them become useful in society once they graduate. But any kind of intern is a prospect for a potential full-time permanent employee. So many of my friends have used interns as a method to try out somebody, and then if they work out, if they're doing great, hire them permanently. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can use the local schools, the local trade schools, the colleges, the universities, the junior colleges, in order to be a source for you for quality people. One thing that most people probably don't think of at all anymore, it used to be the major source, okay, is the unemployment office and other government agencies that place people. So the unemployment office, you just, again, it's a quick matter of talking to them and discussing with them what your needs are and seeing if they think they've got anybody for the right fit, or if they think that normally they would have somebody that would fit your company. But there's also federal agencies, state agencies, county agencies, city agencies that are helping to place people, in particular some who might have handicaps or other kinds of limiting aspects to their abilities. Sometimes those are perfect for you. I know lots and lots of positions that I had at my companies would have been possible for somebody that had problems with their hearing, problems with their sight, problems maybe they were wheelchair bound, or some of these other issues. You can hire these folks. Sometimes they're incredibly good workers, and sometimes the government is going to pay you a little bit in order to take them on. Hey, if you like this content, would you please press like and subscribe and notify? We've basically run out of time today to do part B. Okay, I wanted to do part B, which is once I've got that individual that's walked in the door, and I've got them in an interview situation, how do I make the case? How do I win them into my business when they might have 4 or 5, 6 other offers that are out there that are competing for their time and attention? So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna switch this over tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll come back and we'll talk about how to land that special employee, the one that really looks great and that you'd like to have on the team. This is Randy Kirk with Small Business Daily. We'll see you tomorrow.